Okay, we're live on YouTube.
We
Hi,
are
YouTube.
live.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hey, YouTube world, pound
that-
that like button.
Click the bell so that you can get
What do they
notified every
What do
time
they
we're
always say
live.
at the beginning? Like, hey guys, or how
It's
do
your
Hey,
boys.
what is it, Woody?
That's hey,
It's-
it's your boys
It's
or
hey
boy
guys.
or whatever.
guys.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
We're not fucking twitchers. That's no.
I'm a twitcher. I had Tourette's.
I'm a twink.
Yeah,
That's different.
DJ is a twink.
They're not mutually exclusive, DJ.
All right, here we go on the. We're gonna go on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ah, I missed it. I'm just kidding.
Welcome to the Shovel Pod. I'm Woody.
Hey, I'm George.
I'm DJ.
And Jeff.
Oh my god, guys! I've been on vacation all week. I have been more productive this week than and almost got divorced more times this week than in the last 10 years.
Was it a
15
staycation?
years. I
That's
decided
why.
I was gonna build my wife a pottery studio in the basement.
Yeah.
So I have a room down there that with whoever owned the house before me, like, had all of his computers and stuff set up. He was an IT guy. He had all of his computers set up down in the basement in this one little room, and so it had like these built-in shelves and all this stuff. Well, when we moved in, we had all these extra boxes. We put everything down there that we didn't need, and it sat there for 10 years now with never being touched. So I'm like, if we
Holy
haven't
shit.
used it in 10 years, we don't need it.
Garbage.
Right. Absolutely. So I'm like, I'm going to clear that whole, I'm going to get a dumpster. I'm going to clear that whole room out. And then I'm going to make that the pottery room for her. And so I get the dumpster delivered. It's huge. It's a 15-yard dumpster. And I'm like, okay, well, I better clean out the garage first. So in case there is stuff that I need to keep from that room, I'll have a place to put it. I
Makes
filled
sense.
the first dumpster up with the garage stuff. Filled it. So I'm like, I need another dumpster. And the whole time my wife's like, you can't throw that out. You can't throw that out. You can't. And I'm like,
And so, did they bring cameras on that episode of Hoarders? Or-
I was gonna say
that's
and who
about
the
what it
host?
was. It's been 2 dumpsters now. I've got the second one almost completely full. And finally, she's being better than I thought she would be with it, but
You
it
were
was
panicking at first.
Yeah, it was rough. That's my grandmother's. Well, she
So?
doesn't want it.
Right.
Your mom brought it here because she doesn't want it in her house, but doesn't want to throw it away.
Right.
So, it just needs to go. So yeah, it's
Woody, I feel for you. My wife died 5 years ago. I'm still trying to get rid of her shit. it's never ending.
It's-
Never.
Well, yeah, there's some stuff you don't want to get rid of, but you're never gonna use it.
Right. It's
Yeah.
right. So what's the point?
there's
I
no
mean-
look at this, and this is the hard part about it. And I've had to try to get past this myself because I used to be bad at it, but my wife was terrible. We moved the same shit 3-4 times from house to house
In the same box.
in the same. Never opened it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do we keep doing this?
I got a
Throw
couple
it
of small things
out.
like that.
And I'm like, when was the last time you looked at it? When we
Right.
packed it in this box. We don't need it anymore. But it's
Right.
pictures. Nobody ever looks at. I've got pictures from
Right.
her family that nobody's looked at in 30 years.
Take them
I
out,
don't-
give them
right.
a quick scan.
Right. I don't want
And
them.
toss 'em.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll probably scan them and go, here, send them to the family. Go, I don't need the pictures. Here's an electronic version. Print what you want. Done. That's a great
Yeah.
idea. I've
Yeah.
got an automatic feeder. I'll probably do that. Thanks, DJ.
Get rid of them.
Yeah,
You
I-
don't.
Fuck out.
But
Yeah,
my biggest problem with this is like the garage was easy because the dumpster was right there. Like it's just boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. A lot of the stuff I didn't even let her see. Like, it was just boom right into the dumpster. But the basement, like she sat down there and went
Just-
through every single box.
Just gave him the eye every time he tried to throw something away.
But by that time, like we'd been at this for almost a week, and she was finally getting to the point where she's just like, I don't care anymore. Just throw it away. Just get rid of it. And I'm like, oh, good. Not
Well,
gone,
she wants the pottery studio though. And
Right.
then
Yep.
you want the room
So-
for it, you're gonna do it.
And what I didn't realize is how old I've gotten. I
you
live-
should have just asked me. You're
yeah,
getting real old.
I am.
Look at your
I
gray
have-
beard.
4 steps from the basement to the because I live in a split level, so like from the very basement to the one level that's kind of half underground. I have about 4 or 5 steps to get up that, and then about 7 steps to get to the ground floor outside. To go outside from that floor. After
And then-
about
And then
5
a step
trips
down in the garage.
yeah, and then but about the 5th trip, my knee just stopped. It wasn't hurting. It just
You just said
stopped
no.
You
working.
should have just climbed into the dumpster.
It just
should've- I
preemptively.
really
It just
should've.
preemptively was like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
done.
like done. I'm not working anymore.
I'm tired of bending.
Yeah,
I told
And,
Woody when
I went down, and the thing went over top of me. A whole dump, a tub full of old toys and shit like that. I mean, it was just I went-
Dildos. Just
Yeah.
it was a whole dumpster of dildos.
just a whole bunch of them.
Whole box of dicks.
that was the first dumpster.
yeah.
This is what it sounded like as it fell out of the tub.
Well, I told Woody I was playing kickball a few years ago. I used to play in an adult softball league kind of deal, but it was kickball.
Yeah.
And I kicked one and got through the outfield, and I'm running around. I round third base, and I'm about halfway home, maybe 3/4 of the way home. And my legs just told me, "You're done."
I'm just
They
gonna
just-
lay here.
They stopped working.
They
stopped
do.
working. They shut the fuck down. I went down and I like army crawled home and touched, and I couldn't even get up. Like, I didn't hurt. I couldn't move my leg.
That's the
Legs.
craziest part about it is it's not really pain. Like there's
No.
a little bit of pain, but not a whole lot of pain. But like nothing you couldn't just fight right through. But
No,
it just,
it didn't hurt.
doesn't
No,
do it
it-
anymore.
My brain's telling, yeah, I'm gonna lift my leg up, but there was a little bit of shaking in the leg, like it was like adrenaline or something, but it wouldn't move. It just wouldn't move. I'm like, I'm just old. I
It's
don't
like your
know.
brain and your leg were having an argument. Brain's like, come on, we got to do this. Leg's like, fuck you, I'm out.
I am tired.
It's craziness. I've never experienced that before.
That was the
That
only
is-
time it's ever happened to me.
yeah.
It's embarrassing though, like
Oh,
everyone's-
absolutely.
You're all out of shape and old, and fucking everyone's laughing at you.
Just think, we're only middle aged. We still
know.
got 30 years to go.
I'm not making it that long.
Fuck.
You
Yeah.
guys are gonna have to continue this without me.
Ugh.
You'll make it. Look, you're the healthiest one out of all of us.
No, Jeff's gonna be all by himself one day. Welcome to the Shuffle Bar. This is Jeff.
Yeah.
Today's episodes, we've got the ghosts of Woody, George, and DJ.
So Woody, let's see that smile.
No,
Let's see it.
no. I hate it.
At this point, this has been how many weeks?
A week and a half.
What?
Yes, it was no, it was a week Friday.
A month and a half.
No.
Did you get a tooth in or what? What's going on?
No, I haven't got
Gold.
it fixed yet.
Oh,
Woody, when
I
we
tried all week. My wife actually, I didn't try. Melissa tried to call the dentist to get me in.
You
Woody,
threw all her
we
rubber
went
chips
to
away. She's not gonna do
Carrabba's.
anything for you.
Woody, we went to Carrabba's
That was-
4 weeks from
It
yesterday.
wasn't 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
it was.
2
No, 'cause
weeks
that's
ago.
when
I
you
went
guys
with
took us
yeah.
out.
yeah, it was 2 episodes, so that was 4 weeks ago.
Yes, it was 4
Been a
weeks
month.
ago, but it was already like a week prior to that it happened because I haven't
No,
seen you.
it
yet.
was
Why
no.
don't you 3D print a tooth?
That's
There
what I
you go.
told them
It was
4 weeks ago, Woody.
It
4
was
weeks.
not 4. It was not 4 weeks.
It was
ago.
4 weeks. I'm off every other weekend. It was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was the last time we did a show. It was the
2 weeks ago.
It was 2
I went out
shows
with
ago.
JD.
It was 2 shows
So
ago.
I did not go with you.
I normally
2
don't agree
2
with
weeks
Jeff, but
prior
it
to
was
that-
2 shows ago.
Two
Thanks,
weeks
George.
prior to that, I went
You're
out.
welcome,
guy.
sir.
Yeah, so that's been
Yeah.
1 month yesterday. But you didn't
Whatever.
lose it the day before.
Right.
It was out.
No,
for-
I did.
And Woody, the
Oh,
worst.
Okay.
the-
I
sorry,
had
the
just
worst.
lost because it was still like hurting when I.
Have you passed it yet, or is it still floating around your intestine?
And the worst
No,
part
my
now
question though.
is it's coming into the holiday season, which is when most doctors and dentists take their vacation time. So you're gonna play hell.
My
trying
whole
to get
point
in.
to this was, it's been
It's been a while.
least 4 weeks at least.
Okay, so it's been 4
So-
weeks.
All right.
I'm
So
not gonna
here's
fight you on that.
Is
here's
this
the thing.
permanent now? Are you gonna
No,
fix
I'm
it?
gonna get it fixed. I have been crazy busy. And
Too
Melissa
busy to
tried
get a tooth fixed.
all week long. Melissa tried to get an appointment with the dentist, and she couldn't even get
She
a hold
did.
of him.
Okay. I wasn't under the impression a phone call was even made yet. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
So
I take it back.
Woody.
Oh, it's driving me crazy. Ugh.
Speaking of the tooth,
I whistle better though.
Woody did a hillbilly thing last week with me.
I
Mhm.
don't think I want to know.
I heard you two visited, but I forget what it was for. You told
Ooh,
me.
I think you know what it was.
Oh, yes,
for.
I do. Yes, I do. I know now.
Did you go stump jumping?
Better.
Yeah. We went swamping. We went noodling for catfish.
Oh my god.
And
But it
I
wasn't
kept-
for catfish.
No, it was my butt. No, he so we went and shot my AR
Oh.
and I had to pull him off the range. He was out of control.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Were there kids
would
out
be.
there? Is that why?
No, he just started
Too soon?
firing and he said, I got a thirst for blood. And
I told him, I said, the next time you go to the range, it would be fucking hilarious to wear like a Hillary shirt and start shooting the AR.
Bernie Sanders with Hillary with his arm around her.
Right.
Or a
I was
Diane
like, I'd die
Feinstein.
laughing. I would fucking laugh so
Oh.
hard.
No, we
What
went and shot.
killed me was that they sell bumper stickers at the gun range that are like Joe and the Hoe.
That's because they know
Yeah.
their audience.
Yeah, exactly. But the
They
funny
did
thing
Obviously
is,
not, because I was there.
here's the funny thing. I have a lot of liberal friends that have like M16s, AK-47s, like the right wing crazy crowd. The not you,
George is of
George.
the
George
group.
is you're just
George pointed when you said that.
he's in the middle somewhere. But like they don't
No, he's
think
not.
that
No,
anybody
he's
else
not.
has guns. It's like everybody has guns. It's just they're not stroking themselves off in public with them. It's different.
Not a bad point.
The no, he all right. So Woody, realistically, all jokes aside, how was your experience?
Oh, I had a lot of fun.
He
It
loved
was
it.
fucking loud,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It was very loud. Very loud. Yeah, I still don't think I'd own one. But I love going to shoot them, you know.
Yeah, they're
Hey,
fun to shoot.
You got to do it. You know, I mean, it's
If I
It's-
did own one, I really he's got this lever action rifle that that thing shoots straight, so straight. It's unbelievable. I think if I was gonna own one, I'd own one like that, and I'd probably just leave it on my mother-in-law's farm just to take out there and shoot out there.
Shoot, yeah.
yep. Yeah,
I
that,
almost-
it's that Henry lever action little 22. I love
Nice.
that gun.
Oh,
I
Do
almost-
you ever get anywhere where you're not like at a
No.
range? Do you ever like? Do you know anybody that lives like an hour away, way out in the country, and you get to go out there and actually shoot outside? And do you ever do that?
I've been told that I could do that.
yeah, my mother-in-law said that on the weekends.
Yeah,
I've done that
whenever he
once.
wants to.
I've done that once. It's fun.
Have you?
Is she far enough away from everybody?
Yeah, she's got 40 acres out in Lodi.
Because the
And
people I'm
the
talking
is,
about are
if you shoot towards the houses 9 out of 10 times, they're going to leave, and you
Right,
cracking off
right.
rounds and use that as a backstop.
right.
Right.
No, I'm just thinking the guys that I work with and stuff, like they live out in, man,
Yeah.
it's like so far southeast. It's like almost Pennsylvania, West Virginia type area, and there's nothing out there. And
Yeah,
I've gone out in that area.
I would love to. We talked about it a little bit, and Woody and I would love to do that. You know, just go out and shoot some trash. It'd be a good time. So
Yeah,
I
get
mean,
some.
Woody and I used to live in a place where you could just drive down the street and shoot out your car doors.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
I mean, it was it was
It's
all the
almost
time.
That's no joke.
That's not a joke.
No.
All the time.
Like we used to argue on who had the bedroom in the front of the house because they would shoot the fucking houses.
Until our roommate shot back, and that
Yeah.
stopped real fast.
So what are we doing today, fellas?
Oh,
Well-
I don't know.
Oh man, I'm still tired.
Anybody
I'm
have a
not
topic,
sure.
or is that it? We good?
Oh, I
No.
wouldn't have said that. I thought somebody actually did have some. I'm sorry.
No, we're talking. We're talking about Woody getting the AR.
Losing a tooth, getting
Losing
an
a
AR,
tooth, getting
That's
an AR. So your country now.
dating my
Welcome to-
cousin.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family.
All right, no.
My-
let me ask you guys this. With Elon Musk taking over Twitter, okay,
Oh God.
and I
Okay.
was following our text thread a little bit.
I did
And-
not. I missed most of that.
Well, here's the thing, and I agree with. I think it might have been you, DJ. Was it you or my brother?
It wasn't
Said
me.
they're not. He said the vote is in. People voted to not to have Donald Trump come back on Twitter,
Thank
and
God.
somebody
No,
said
they said he.
Oh,
he's back.
he's
They
back.
voted to bring him back.
Yeah, to bring him back. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And somebody
I
in the text thread said that he won't be active on it because of Truth Social.
Yeah. See, I did not read any of this. I
He-
haven't seen it in like a day.
Can I interject something real quick? Because
Yeah,
he's
that-
never been gone. He wasn't actively tweeting, but all these other assholes keep posting what he tweets on Truth Social. So he's always been there. There's
Sure.
never been a time that he wasn't there.
No,
no,
there's a
but-
difference. There's a difference. All the assholes that retweet him they didn't have the amount of people he did. So not the
No,
same amount of
because
people saw it.
the other side are like, well, look at the stupid shit that he posted. I'm like, yeah, stop posting what he posted.
No, I know,
There's
but-
no reason to.
But I'm saying like
Oh, you mean the full?
it
okay, I
didn't
get it.
reach
He
the
didn't
audience
have-
he
yeah.
wants to reach.
Yeah.
It reaches me.
Oh yeah.
You know, I
because
see it,
I get it
but
down the line.
His
So-
hardcore followers don't follow, the left wing
Right.
people that are retweeting it. So
Yeah, I'm looking it up here, and I don't have my glasses. God
I don't think he's
bless him.
coming back.
Well, I checked the account today, and he hasn't posted anything new.
He
This-
said a couple weeks ago he's not going to.
He also said he was leaving the country if
Does
he
this
lost
beauty
the
light look
election.
good?
Ooh.
It's perfect.
Okay, so
I'm the leprechaun. All right,
I-
I'm gonna
I
get my glasses.
understand-
I'll be right back, guys.
all right, I understand the whole idea of like inciting panic and
A riot.
and things like
insurrection.
that, and right. But man, I don't think it's fair to keep somebody off of even if their ideas are crazy.
It's a private company.
It is
It's
a private
not
company.
free speech.
Right.
I get so tired of the free speech argument with that shit.
Right.
It's
Free
so
speech
tiring.
it's only
It's
government.
not free speech.
Right.
He's allowed to say whatever he wants and he won't be arrested. That's free speech. It has
Right.
nothing to do with being able to say it so everybody can hear you. Nothing.
It's a private company just as much as McDonald's is a private company. And if you were to tell somebody they weren't allowed to they weren't allowed in McDonald's anymore.
That happens.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, but I don't
It
know.
happens.
But that's
Okay,
perfect.
okay.
George,
it does
what you
happen.
just missed.
But does that mean that it's right?
George, what you
No.
just missed
Yes.
was what he said that he doesn't think it's right that like you can ban somebody from Twitter. Okay, so and I
well-
said you can because it's not free speech. That's what you missed.
Well, it's I agree that you should be able to ban people from Twitter because it's not a right. Okay.
Didn't conservatives
It's a
just win a
privilege.
lawsuit about not wanting to sell a cake to a gay couple?
Yes.
Well,
there you go.
here's the thing though, and this is kind of where I'm at. Whether you agree or not, and I'm not trying to start a fight by any means, but just it seemed that there was a large wave of conservatives getting, basically getting kicked off of social media. All right. There was a
There's a
big
reason for it.
Right.
well, but there isn't.
There is.
Yeah, there
It
is.
was the
Just 'cause you have
disinforma-
a-
It was the disinformation.
But
Can I-
they
wait.
proved that it wasn't disinformation.
No, they didn't. Can I
What?
can I just
They proved that it
real quick?
Which part are you talking about? Go
I'm
ahead.
talking
John.
like-
I'm going to agree with George. A lot of conservatives were kicked off.
Mhm.
What you're not hearing is there were also a lot of other side liberals kicked off, all for the same reason, and
Yeah.
it was misinformation.
Yeah.
They kicked them off for spewing lies that led to health risks, dangerous situations, anger against and violence against other people. Like, we've literally got people in our government that are saying things on these platforms, and people are taking that as an actionable thing and trying to kidnap other government officials,
Right.
kill other government officials. This is why you can absolutely remove people from
Which-
these platforms.
okay, now,
because
when
it's
it-
dangerous.
When it happened to a Supreme Court justice, it got swept under the rug, truthfully. All right. And that
No.
wasn't
No,
a
it didn't.
conservative that did that. Yes, it did.
Which Supreme Court justice?
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh. Okay.
The guy
wasn't
drove
being-
to his house to kill him.
No, they went. Okay, that guy did, but it was all over the news and all over the network, and they banned him. Like, he was.
I think the
taken off
least
platform.
of that guy's
But that was I think
concern
that
was to get
Facebook.
banned off of Twitter.
Right, but he
But
was
in
arrested.
Facebook.
Just
but
like
here's the thing, and there has been, and you're going to see it because now that Republicans control the House, you're going this whole thing about social media is just going to be crazy. All right, it has been proven that the Russian disinformation was false. Okay,
What?
oh, it
It's-
has
Where
to
are
be.
you hearing?
Yes,
honest
it
to God,
was.
Where are you getting
Where are
this?
you hearing it? Because
It's all been
I-
proven factual. They have cases against Trump for it that haven't gone through because Barr said no, we're not going to do that.
Now I do know for a fact because about once to twice a week while I'm at work, I throw the AirPods in because I want to know what he's saying. I do listen to Alex Jones now and then just to hear the crazy.
the Mueller
and
the
he
Mueller
talks about this
investigation found. Okay, special counsel. This is the American Bar Association. I tried to pick a neutral. All right, so it's
Okay.
lawyers. Did not find sufficient evidence that President Donald Trump's campaign coordinated with Russia to influence the 2016 election, and did not take a clear position on whether he obstructed justice. Mueller
They
concluded the 22-month investigation, submitted a report to the Attorney General William Barr. All right, Friday, March 22nd, and Barr, General Rod Rosen reviewed the report over the week and filed a 4-page summary in the report to Congress Sunday. In his letter to Congress, Barr summarized the Mueller investigation is looking at two areas: interference by Russia in the 2016 presidential election and obstruction of justice. It said, as far as, let's see, a special counsel found that Russia did not interfere with the election, but did not find that Trump campaign or anyone associated with the council conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in these efforts, despite multiple efforts from Russian affiliates. They were saying that Russia was trying to do it, but it
they
wasn't
didn't directly
through the-
collude with the Trump campaign.
Who
correct,
wrote
which
that?
But
was
they-
the biggest
they-
thing.
Okay,
that
but
was-
that was the Mueller investigation.
And that was
But-
what they were bringing him up on impeachment
but
for.
Did
the Russian disinformation, the shit that Hillary had that little canister and she was actually dead and they were carrying her back to her car
Right.
and all this shit. This is the stuff
Well,
conservatives.
that's craziness.
that was
Right.
Russian disinformation,
and that's
that,
far right.
and
Right.
that is what they kept retweeting.
right.
But
Now,
that was
it
the
was that
far
stuff.
crazy ass QAnon guys.
But
That's
George,
Trump.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
god, yes it is.
but that's
No,
a
it's
side note.
not.
But George, real quick, who wrote that review of the Mueller report? Who
That
literally,
was
like the actual
Mueller.
person?
That was Mueller.
That was Mueller?
Yeah.
Because I read the Mueller report, cover to cover, redacted,
Mhm.
albeit it states multiple times that they have enough evidence
Mhm, it does.
of
I
Russian
read it too.
collusion,
Yes.
of President
Yeah.
Trump and his staff.
But it wasn't his.
But they're
It
not
wasn't
Yes,
Trump.
it was.
do it.
It wasn't him directly. It was the people in his campaign. All right.
All right.
And they
And
might
the
not have
Russian
willingly known,
disinformation
too.
was at his behest. Also, if you read other books and articles and stuff that relates
Mhm.
to it, you'll find out that Russia has been working with Trump for over a decade and absolutely helped him, whether there's direct links or not.
But he
Well,
might
yes,
not
he had
even know it.
business. He was building a Trump Plaza in Russia. That
he
was
was
the
trying,
plan. Yeah.
but yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the only
I
reason
don't-
that they didn't move forward with the Mueller report is because Barr said before anybody got to read it, other than the lawyers who wrote that dissertation on it,
And you
said, no, we're not going to put it out there. There's nothing to it, and put it on TV, and said that. So everybody believed it before anybody got a chance to actually read it and know what was in it.
Well, because when somebody hears a synopsis of the whole thing, most people just don't even bother reading it.
Right.
I read it.
I did too. That's why I read it, because it sounded like bullshit to me. But go on. I'm willing to hear whatever else we're talking about.
no,
But-
it's
or did you want me to get angry this show?
no, not at all. Here's the thing: there's people on the far right and the far left that are
Absolutely.
driving the news cycles for both sides of
And
the
actually,
thing. And I think the vast majority of people fall in the middle. Okay,
I don't.
I do. I
don't
really
anymore.
do. I think that's the majority.
Jordan,
I don't think people are that far separated.
I think you're right, George. But the part that a lot of people don't understand is, and you use the term far left. You know how many people are far left? About 1%. Most of the people,
Right. That's what I'm
the
saying.
far
But the far right, it's a lot higher.
is so
it depends
much higher.
where you want to put that bar at. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Is most
Um,
people try to center it. We're not centered anymore. Like when
No.
we were young adults, we were pretty center, but we were still skewed a bit too conservative because most people are a little bit conservative.
Yeah,
whether
this
they're
is
religious
my
or
thing
whatever.
now. Like
Go for it.
But
debates,
It's shit.
presidential, Senate, governor. It doesn't matter what it's for.
Right.
I think we're to the point in American society where we don't need them anymore, because there is no one left, nobody left that doesn't already know who they're voting for. When JD Vance and Tim Ryan stood up there for the Ohio Senate, or when DeSantis and I forget his name in Florida had that, there's nobody they're convincing. They're all just feeding to their own side.
Right.
Well,
There is no undecided people anymore.
Well,
If you're
there
undecided,
is.
then you
I've
don't
been-
follow anything.
I've been undecided in the past.
Yes, not today anymore.
No,
It's-
not so
it's-
much. You're right.
It's polarized now.
But I think the thing is the information is preemptively more at our hands. We can sit down
Right.
and read. You can go to like a neutral election
No, but-
site,
but
and
yeah,
it'll
but even
it'll
your-
show both sides. This is what they're
Yeah, but
running
your
on. This is their
issues-
platforms and stuff like
Your
that.
your issues that you care about.
right.
There's nobody on the left pushing to ban abortion. But there's
Right,
hardly anyone at all on the right arguing to keep it. Hardly. With some exception cases, but most of the people have a pretty hard line stance. And that's just one issue. I mean,
Well,
taxes, there's-
that's more of an image thing. That whole abortion thing. What they don't want to say we want to ban abortions. They want to say we want to give the states the right to choose, because they don't want to look like they're one way or the other.
But
Correct.
they are.
Oh, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest problem with our whole political
they can't take
climate right
Yeah.
now I believe this is what China and Russia have been doing
it is.
behind the scenes for years. They're
is.
trying to divide us, put a stake right down the middle, one side or the other, civil war.
I would
Boom.
agree to a point, but it's not China and Russia that are doing it to us.
I think
it's-
they are.
It
It's-
is.
They're helping. I'm not saying they're not, but think about what you said. For like the past couple decades, we haven't been that into like social media as much as we are now. It was growing and
Correct.
it was getting there. What started this was the separation of, or the transition of the Republican Party, which I'm sure most of us were at the time during Reagan, to the conservative and the far right party. That's when it started to shift that direction.
Mhm.
I'm still technically a Republican because I agree with most of the stuff they talk about, but not the conservative bullshit that's religious based, right? That's the problem. everybody started pushing to get religious based. They started putting the
Yeah.
conservative
Yeah.
judges in to overturn things. Roe v. Wade, they've been trying to overturn it since it was instated. They've been doing this since the 80s. They finally succeeded.
I
There's-
was wrong on Roe v. Wade because I really thought I've told Woody at least a dozen times in the past they'll never
repeal it.
ever do it because this is what gets people to the polls. I was stunned.
The
when they
problem-
Well, and I think you're seeing that because it was the Supreme Court ruling on it. It wasn't.
Well, that's the only way you can
the
do it.
elected executive branch or anything like that. See, and Jeff, you're right because Facebook started in 2004.
Right. And
okay?
it just exacerbated the whole thing.
And
Like
it
it made it
didn't-
so much worse.
And MySpace started before that, but that was basically showing people's, picture of people's buttholes and
Right.
everything else. And then
Mine's still on the
Facebook,
internet if you want to see it.
I've seen it. I love it. And
I think I have
And
a
so
picture of
you-
DJ's in my phone.
we're
Yeah,
almost
I
at
said it last night.
20 years for Facebook.
No,
And you can look at how much social media
Yep.
has influenced people's want and need for information. And unfortunately, what happens is, in my opinion, is people are so adept to being the first to report a story, the first
Yep.
to do this.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that.
Yep.
But it's because you always see like Fox News, you heard
Right.
it here first.
That
yeah, but
before
now
the
it can be
internet.
within 30 seconds.
right.
Yes.
And you're
And that's why there's a lot of misinformation.
right. Even
Well,
from the news networks, because you
Yes.
said it right there. When we started during the what was it, 92, 93, during the invasion of Iraq, during the Gulf War,
Yes.
we started the 24-hour news cycle on CNN,
Mhm. With
Fox
Blitzer.
News, everything. That started the misinformation because they didn't care if it was right or not. They
You're
didn't
correct.
check
Right.
it. They just
Right.
here's a news story, run it because they
Well, and it
needed
was an
something to run.
experiment.
Look how
24
many
hours
times
a
Howard
day.
Stern guys got through. Captain
Right.
Jenks got through
Mhm.
because,
Right.
oh my God, we got the leader of this. Oh, right now, he's on the phone. Put him on.
Baba
Baba Booey,
Booey.
Baba Booey.
Yeah.
You know, that's how that happens. 'Cause they
And
don't
I
care.
think that's where this, and I forget what the rule is. Is it the 93
What?
or what is the actual, who's clipping their nails?
Not me.
I'm clipping plastic. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. I
It's
didn't want you
your
to start
show.
biting your toenail.
You're talking about
what-
the
what
fairness
is
doctrine?
the act? Yes. Is that
It was
Senate Bill-
removed by Reagan in the 80s.
No,
Okay.
no. The
No. I'm
fairness
talking
doctrine
about.
was early 2000s.
I'm,
Was it? I
I'm
thought
not.
Reagan got
I'm
rid of it
talking
in the
about
80s.
basically social media where they don't have basically any rules as far as
I
they
don't know
can
what
set
that's
their
called.
own. There's this.
It's freedom of speech.
Well,
Two
Is
way.
that net neutrality? I don't think it is. I think that's
that yeah.
something
Okay. No.
It's
No.
part of it, I think.
It is part of
Not
the net
sure.
neutrality thing, which actually, when it went through, people were saying it was going to be the end of the internet. You
Well, no
remember
one
that?
understands.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
That's why.
No,
Yeah.
and it's all fucked up.
Woody
But-
and I have had a lot of conversations about net neutrality,
Yeah.
and I don't think anything was ever gained on those conversations.
Well, but the net neutrality thing basically allows Google to give you their top 10 or
yes,
whatever.
yes, that's
And
the
then-
best explanation.
And then Bing can give you this. And then if you go on the DuckDuckGo, all of a sudden you're getting pushed the right side of it. So, and I'm not saying the right meaning the correct,
No.
but and this is the problem, in my opinion, no matter where you stand, okay, if you want to be a person that's informed and this and that, because how many times have we had a conversation and DJ, you're like, where are you hearing that?
Right.
You know, like
Like today.
Steve, well, yes, and it's been something that you've said a lot, and it's because we're on opposite sides of the fence getting news that is completely different. Like to me, it
Absolutely.
seems normal,
Yeah, right.
you know, that I'm like, well, yes,
Exactly.
the Mueller report did, but and then the way it was reported for the content that you're consuming said that he was guilty, but there
Right.
wasn't enough evidence.
Right. But
So
Well, except
there's
that
no truth,
my
and
part
that's
was-
the thing.
Well,
that
my part
sucks.
was the report, though.
right, exactly. Mine
It
was
wasn't
too.
a report about the report.
And that's what I was going to say, George. It's a lot of people.
Well, it was.
No,
It was.
he's right. And I was just going to say that. It's so many people rely on places that are just bullshit, Fox News, that
Mhm.
tell them things that they want to hear. Look, I can say
I-
that. You know why? Because even their lawyers say you cannot trust anything anybody on this network
did.
says because it's entertainment. Their
It's
lawyers have
obviously
said this.
entertainment.
They are
I
lying
don't like.
to
I actually
everyone.
don't like Fox News.
But
Well, when they
I used to watch it before I found out it was such a crazy pants show, along with everything else. Because, like
It's
you
so
said,
CNN.
get your news.
one
Absolutely.
of the
crazy.
one of the best
Absolutely.
examples about what we talked earlier is when people do like a synopsis of something,
Right.
then people won't actually read the original
Right.
or read the bill or whatever. One of the best examples I can from recent times is remember read the transcript. Read the
Right.
transcript
And I
from
did.
the Zelensky
Yep.
Trump phone call. That transcript was less than 1 page.
Yep.
Nobody read the transcript because they just waited
I-
for the people on the news to tell them.
I
What to
did.
do. Oh, I absolutely did. I'm saying like, but
Huh.
when you see all the
Right.
people commenting about
Right.
it,
They're like, oh,
nobody
blah, blah, blah,
read
blah,
it.
blah. I know, and I
Nobody
tried
read
to
it.
comment back to those people like, well, it didn't say this, and I
It's like 2
clip the line and go,
paragraphs.
yes, it did. It's right here. Just
It's
because
like
you
2
didn't read it.
paragraphs.
Yeah.
But people think the transcript is automatically going to be like a book
This
that thick.
long. Right.
Yeah,
So-
it was 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs.
And here's what I do, right? I'm off Facebook. I've got so tired of the fucking vitriol and just the bullshit of Facebook. I miss connecting with people when they do events and stuff, but they know I'm not on there, so they send me a text. Or
I like
whatever, right?
Marketplace.
I
go
do
on.
like Marketplace. Yeah.
I haven't been on Marketplace. I might try it out. I go on
Amazing.
Twitter only to see what people are bitching and griping about that day, and then I go look up the stories. I have my Google News feed gives me everything: Fox, CNN, MSNBC, BBC, Al Jazeera, everybody. And
Yeah.
when I've got multiple sites that have the same
He's
story,
growing his beard out.
right? Same story with, like a lot of times you'll get slightly different facts or figures, but they're all pretty much on target. That way I know, okay, they're either all getting the same information from somewhere or they're all reporting that this is pretty much what's happening.
I
as
think
opposed
since the
to
beginning of
completely off
modern
base.
America, there has been a drive for misinformation, and keeping people curious and keeping them in the dark, kind of like on a lot of issues has been
Yep.
a driving force. I mean, back in the 60s, and going back as far as even the 40s when the FBI was founded,
Right.
and the CIA and stuff. It's just there's so much. Basically, if they can keep you interested on a certain argument topic,
Right.
it's oh, look here, but what's happening here, and that's the biggest thing I think that people don't stop and think about. I'm not the most news savvy person, okay?
Right.
I'm a caveman. I'm kidding. I'm not a caveman, but if I was, I'd have a sweet beard. But
Sure.
there's a big problem with a lot of it is all the misinformation, no matter which side you want to go on,
Right.
is covering something up.
Yep.
And that's the thing that sucks.
I think the thing that sucks is that Woody hasn't said a word in like 15 minutes.
I think this
I
topic
haven't got
makes
a
you-
chance.
He's listening.
You gotta be assertive. Throw yourself in there.
I let people talk. I don't interrupt.
Oh my God.
All right.
What's your thought on it, Woody?
I think it's a plot. I think it's a plot to overthrow to topple the U.S. government. I really do. I think
By whom?
by China and Russia.
China.
Yeah, see-
100%.
They're
sick of us
partially
being-
Iran, North Korea.
They're sick of us being the world police, the only
Oh.
superpower, and
I
they want their
agree.
turn. China's
I'm sorry. I was going to say I agree with that, but
well, it's okay.
When
But let me
did
get
it-
it out first.
okay. Go.
So, and as far as like the news goes, these news companies, they just, because of social media and how fast people get their news nowadays, everybody wants to be the first to report something. They'll report they will sit.
Mhm.
It's a whole about it's like that. I'll ask for forgiveness as opposed to instead of permission.
Yes.
Good
yes.
call.
They throw it out there, and then if it's wrong, oh sorry, but by that time
Well,
it's where they're onto something else.
yes, some of the original wrong story is actually Russian disinformation that like Fox or NBC picks up on. they see a tweet saying that this just happened. And
Right.
it's absolutely
Yeah.
not even true because it was just from a Russian troll farm that released it.
Right, China and Russia. I mean, that's
Yeah.
absolutely they're using this to their advantage, and it's 100% working. It's
Yeah.
dividing this country in two distinct halves, and we're going to tear ourselves apart with it. That's exactly what's going to happen.
And the dumbing down of America. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
like those all that we just went through this whole election thing. And you see all these ads about so and so voted to give prisoners tax returns and stuff like
billions of dollars in money.
that. Right.
Yeah.
And like I was sitting there
they're
with my
going to
parents.
release sex offenders.
I was sitting there with my parents, and my dad's like, I didn't think that was true, but come to find out, yeah, they gave stimulus checks to prisoners, and I'm like, well, yeah, for one, okay, yes, but do you think those prisoners got that money? When
No,
somebody
it's their
does
families.
right, when somebody does like a horrendous crime, they usually get sued along with getting prosecuted. Okay,
Right.
so that money that they got is going to their victims' families.
Yeah,
It's
and
not going to them. They're not buying ho-hos and cigarettes in the
Or
jail
their
with that money.
families, right? They're
Or
not.
what was
or
the last
their
thing?
families, right?
Or
Like-
if it wasn't a violent crime,
Exactly.
yeah, their family.
Right. Well, yeah, their child support back payments or whatever. I'm not trying to pigeonhole.
Right.
All prisoners have illegitimate children
Right.
or whatever, but I mean, it's ridiculous. And they're like, oh, okay, but
We can agree.
Right.
It's something I think the
No, but-
majority of us.
But with the Russian and China stuff, it was not that long ago. It was some high up. I can't remember if it was a high up businessman in China or a high up military official. He was talking about how TikTok in China, a lot of it is intellectual.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's learning different ways to do math. It's philosophy. It's all
Yes.
this stuff. But they have American TikTok geared to see how high we can stack these dominoes and fall down, or the dog fucking slapping the butt. This mindless stuff. You know what I mean?
pouring
It's like
ice buckets on our heads.
right. It's these dumb things, these dumb, stupid challenges,
traps.
and the whole
Hey,
thing.
hey, now, those have cool.
Shh. The whole.
Bunny is a Chinese
Don't fucking
asset.
bring Bunny into this.
Here,
But
Bunny is
the-
not a Chinese asset.
But
Bunny will
they've
save
been
our
doing
lives.
they've been doing this, and I don't know if it's just China, Russia, but the dumbing down of America has been going on since like the 70s and 80s.
Right.
At least
it's been a slow burn.
picture
that way.
every funny sitcom on TV that you liked as a kid.
Right.
The cool one that got the chicks was
Hey,
dumb.
Willie.
They were dumb.
Yeah.
Well,
The
not-
nerdy people were all the smart ones that had the good job. You could really take any show. Take like Cheers. The coolest one there towards the end was Woody,
Right.
and he was a dumbass. Friends. The cool one was Joey. He's a dumbass. The smart one was
Totally.
Ross. They made fun of him because he was a nerd. This is every TV show. It's every TV show,
right.
and they've been doing this to us for decades.
Every
And
TV,
It's cool to not
every
know.
TV show, but what is the one? The whole universe.
Big
Big
Bang
Bang
Theory.
Theory.
Even that is
It just
like-
shows you how socially awkward smart people are.
Right.
Like that's,
Yeah.
not all smart people are socially awkward, can't speak to women.
But
or-
even
or-
that, the hottest one in there is Penny, and she's stupid.
yeah.
I disagree. I think what the other one, the other blonde chick with the glasses. I think
Bernadette.
she's hot as Bernadette. I personally think she's hotter.
But
than
they
Penny.
did that later in the show.
That is true. But you're
They-
right.
This show was
dumbest
built
one of the
off of
group.
Penny being
Tip
hot.
my hat to you, my friend.
So I want to I don't disagree with anything you guys said. Not at all. The only thing that I would say is I don't think China and Russia started this.
No,
They
no.
just took
No,
advantage.
they're taking advantage of a situation.
They
And
picked-
But
again,
they
I'm
are
gonna go-
absolutely taking advantage of that situation.
And I'm going to go back to Reagan. This is when it all started. I've read so many books recently and stuff, and this is the thing I keep coming back to is Reagan and the conservative movement started this whole thing of dumbing down schools. We stopped funding our education. We started giving let's call them blue chips, for people to go to private schools so they could get better educations, indoctrinated into the Christian religion where they don't actually teach stuff. I was in a Catholic school.
A lot of this with Reagan
different.
was
Right.
even a lot of it was second term.
Right. Fairness
And-
doctrine, I mentioned earlier.
I'm pretty sure. I thought that
I'm
was
reading it
Cheney
right
and
here.
Bush.
Nope. 1976 and 1980, the FCC released a report stating doctrine hurt the public interest and violated free speech. So in 1987, Reagan took it out.
Okay, all right.
So ever
but-
since then, they don't have to give both sides.
In
That's
all
when our
fairness,
media.
that's only for public airwaves.
Correct, but
That's not for cable news. It's not for podcasts.
that's
it's
all
not
we
for
had back
anything.
then.
Yeah, I know,
We
Yeah.
but
didn't
I'm,
have anything
But
else.
and that's
So they started.
no,
pushing,
we had cable. It wasn't for cable.
Did
HBO
they
was
have
around.
it was
They
for
still
over the
have.
air. That's how they got around it.
Right,
Is because
but
we had
only
over the
had
air.
over-the-air news. We didn't have cable news yet.
24-hour news wasn't there,
Right.
but we had cable.
Right, but it started that shift to
Yeah.
polarized.
Yeah.
Call it
But
liberal
what I'm
media,
saying,
if
what
you
I'm
will,
saying
but
is, I
it's
think
really...
a lot of that wasn't Ronald Reagan and himself.
Oh
I
no,
think-
no, I'm not saying it was
I
him.
think
I'm
a
saying,
lot of it was second term, and I
right.
think a lot of it was he was already far
Correct.
into dementia or Alzheimer's, whichever
Right.
it was he had.
And I'm not saying he
And
did
I
it.
think,
I'm saying
yeah,
it
I
was
think
his
it
term.
was. I think it was a lot of people took advantage of. Well, I
Correct.
can do this. Now is my time to do this.
No, it's
Correct.
George Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Honestly,
he was
yeah.
Reagan's vice president.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And then I mean, look how corrupt he was. Going forward.
and prior to that, he was the director of the CIA.
I'm sorry, what, George?
Hmm?
Did I hear you right? Did you say
What?
George Bush was corrupt?
Trump doesn't
Absolutely.
like Bush. Trump hates the
Thank-
Bushes.
Who cares what
I
Trump
don't
likes?
even know
He's a
if I
fucking
would-
piece of shit. God.
I don't even know if I would vote for Trump this time. I want DeSantis.
If you voted for him twice, there's something wrong with you. Seriously.
Who?
Everybody. If anybody voted for him twice after the first 4 years, you really
no,
need to
Jeff,
go.
you
George did.
can't.
No,
you
no, no.
can't
Hold
say
on.
that. People have to
can.
vote what's best for them and their families.
Yes.
And what they believe. And
The
okay, I'm not saying Trump was the Antichrist. What I hated about Trump was what he did to the country as far as divided the country
Yes.
in half.
That's what I'm saying.
But
That's
if
what
you
I'm saying.
believe in like in his politics, then you should vote for him. I'm not saying that you shouldn't.
But
don't
I
think
guess
have
if
any
you believe the
politics.
message they're sending,
Right.
but there was no actual the Trump tax breaks.
He
They
had
were
no
for the
agenda.
ultra rich. I
Yes.
mean, it wasn't.
well, and until you change the tax code, it's never going to change.
Right.
And that's the thing.
And that was the one
That
thing
was
that
the
most
biggest thing about them saying that he doesn't pay his taxes. Well, neither do the top
correct.
0.5% of the nation.
Yeah, but neither side ever changes the tax code.
correct,
Because
because they
Trump
both
had-
benefit from it.
Trump had the Senate and House his first 2
But-
years as
That-
president, and
Right.
they
That's not
didn't do
entire-
it.
Well, he doesn't
So-
want to. Why would he? He
Right,
would lose
that's what I'm
money
saying.
then.
Right.
And
And-
Biden had it this time. Obama had it for 2 years.
Correct.
They never change
Right.
it. They don't want it.
Right. But
For a representative that makes $176,000 a year, okay, how is it that when they get out of the Senate or the House, they're millionaires?
insider
because
trading. They're all
Nobody
corrupt.
ever.
It's not
ever,
just insider trading. Some of it's I'm going to go because I did Pfizer so many favors that now I
Exactly.
sit on their
Correct.
board. Yeah,
Exactly.
which is, and that's a problem.
it's a huge
Yes.
problem.
This is the bottom line is no matter. Look, here's the thing. Basically, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm pretty much a one issue voter. Okay.
We
That's
already
it.
know this.
Honestly, and the rest of it is kind of like we spoke on abortion. Okay, there could be where people could meet in the middle. Okay, if
They
if-
did. It was Roe versus Wade.
well, yes and no. Okay,
It's-
because clearly there are people that don't agree with that. Now, I do agree in a woman's right to choose.
Right.
Okay, but I do not agree unless it's a special extenuating circumstance that they should be aborting third trimester children.
which
Neither do
Okay.
I.
which they're not. That was in Roe versus Wade. This is all things that
But-
we're trying to
and this is
explain.
the
Is
thing.
people don't read it and disagree with it. That's the problem. But go on. I'm sorry.
But states have always had the right to set their standards, even with
Yep.
Roe versus Wade.
Correct.
Sometimes the majority of the people aren't right. It
Correct.
doesn't matter
No,
if
you're
they
absolutely
want it or not. Sometimes the government has to step in and say slavery. Sometimes the government steps in and says, it doesn't matter what your little community wants.
correct.
It doesn't matter what this little community in Georgia wants. And every one of you, 99% vote for this. It's wrong and you can't do it. Period. It's just wrong. It's a federal law.
And but you have, it just gives politicians a running point, okay?
Mhm.
And that's a shame, because the thing that the people that suffer in that is the mother and the father and making a decision, okay? I think that if there was a real movement to actually have a respectable talk about, okay, listen, can we sit down and agree that if a heartbeat's detected, then it's a real baby at that point? Or
Mm.
I mean, there's got to be some middle ground, and
Which
that's just
around
I'm just
15 weeks.
No,
which
it's
is-
got to be something. I mean, I know you're just using examples.
I'm just
but
like kind of
before-
spitballing.
yeah, before abortion, it has to be some kind of brain development.
right. But again, not all of it, but most of this was in Roe versus Wade. That's the problem I have and this is why I apologize if I offended people with saying
No.
he voted for Trump, but this is why, because he pushed people so far into believing all this QAnon bullshit, even if he's not Q himself or whatever, but he separated people.
Some
and
of his tweets
pushed
and
them.
speeches,
Right.
he's greasing that.
And this is
He's
the kind of
purposely
thing
saying words that they
Well,
love.
he plays to the crowd.
that he did. Yeah. And
Even
this is
the
what it is.
announcement that he's running for president.
Right.
He used the word, what was it? The Republic of
Right.
America, or Republic of the United States,
I mean,
which is
technically true.
straight into every QAnon video.
Right.
He's going to be the 19th president of the
Right.
Republic.
But
It's
but the
straight
point
And
is,
the
into there.
republic
people-
for which it stands, one
Right.
nation under God. It's part of the
People-
Pledge of Allegiance.
I know, but he worded it that way.
right, we are a
So
republic.
the QAnon people would go crazy.
Right.
He did it. He has speechwriters. He did it on purpose.
Sure.
I mean,
Well, he's
he's-
not. He's
he
smart
feeds them.
when it comes
He-
to this.
when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And that's it.
My biggest thing with this is all of this shit. I don't believe that any of these politicians believe these issues.
No.
It's
exactly.
all
too.
about getting votes. That's all it is. It's I'm going to pander to the Christians so that I get the Christian vote and that gets me elected. It doesn't matter that
100%.
it doesn't matter that I've had 6 women get abortions,
Right.
but because I want those Christian votes, abortion.
Now that's me.
bad.
Right.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's perfect. But the problem is, and I agree 100%, but the problem is right now, our votes or our elections are by the minority, not the majority. Perfect example is Roe versus Wade. 70+% of the country polled agrees Roe versus Wade should be codified. We've got 30% of the
Mhm.
people voting in areas that get the electorate because they're so gerrymandered.
We've had, I think,
And-
7 of the 9. I'm sorry, not 7 of the 9.
That's Star Trek.
It is. It is Star Trek. That's not where I was going with that.
The Republican president
Of
hasn't
the
won
last-
the popular vote in the past decade and a half.
Yes,
Not
and so
one.
everybody on the Supreme Court, except for I believe there is one still on the conservative side.
Ketanji Brown Jackson, that was just appointed by
That
Biden.
was actually nominated by a president that won the popular vote.
Right.
I mean, hell, there might not be any now.
No, Ketanji Brown Jackson. She was
No,
appointed last-
conservatives.
Oh, none of the conservatives were
Yeah.
appointed by a president that
Oh,
was
yeah,
not a
Yeah,
popular vote.
yeah, they were. I think
Actually, maybe Alito. No.
Clarence
'cause
Thomas was.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas was. And
See how
I think,
well
I
that
think it
went.
ends there. I think it ends there.
The Godfather.
Yeah.
Right. And think about this. This is a good example, too. They got rid of, or they struck down Roe versus Wade. Clarence Thomas has stated that they're going to get rid of
I know.
pretty much everything.
In the message
marriage
thread,
rights,
George's
whatever.
brother said that the day he said it. Jim
And
brought it up.
what I keep seeing on TikTok and Facebook, well, not Facebook, but Twitter and whatever is, why is a a SCOTUS judge married to a white woman want to strike down marriage equality. I'm like, have you seen his wife? Like,
Right.
I wouldn't want to be married to her either. So he's rushing it. He's like, let's get this done. It's like, that way I don't have to divorce her. I'm done. I can't be married to her
Yeah.
anymore.
That
Like, I'm
is
just gonna roll these
honestly
through.
one of the cases he cited was
It is.
interracial marriage.
It is.
That
They
was
want
one of
to
the
take
cases
us.
he wants to look at.
They want to take us back to the 40s and 50s, make America great again. That's what the message meant. That's what these people want. And that's
Leave
where
it
we're
to
headed.
Beaver.
And I don't know if you guys know this or have done any, reading about the time. The 50s was okay for white suburbanites. That's it. Everybody else was not
Yeah,
good.
but out of the four of us, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like we fit comfortably into that category.
Right.
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 No, but it's so true though. For everyone else, it was so bad.
Right.
So bad.
I mean, there's
There's only one issue, boys.
What's that?
Second Amendment. Yes, and
That's it.
nobody's coming to take your guns.
Okay,
So that's
the
an
Second
easy one.
Amendment. I mean, like we've had
That's it.
Congress, both sides of Congress, and Clinton, both sides of Congress, and Obama, and both sides of Congress and Biden now.
Yep.
And no one came for your guns.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
don't you
Clinton-
think they would have.
No, hold on. Clinton did. He
Clinton
had
had
the
an
assault ban.
rifle
He had
ban.
the assault weapon ban in 1994, which was spearheaded by Biden. So yes,
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it was started by Reagan and finally taken up by the Clinton administration.
And that was a selling ban. Not
And-
you can't
right.
own them.
Right, and that was a ban on assault rifles.
Yeah.
Well, tell me who did the Brady Bill? Do you know what the Brady Bill is?
That was Reagan. He was.
absolutely
his
Reagan.
Secret Service.
he was a little salty because he got shot.
The only president
Yeah,
to
right.
ever
I guess that
actually
said to
It
skew
does
your
that
opinion
too.
on
Right.
things.
right, the only president to actually put some sort of ban on handguns was a Republican. But the Democrats are
Who
always
got
coming
shot.
for your guns. So what? Democrats have gotten
But that's
shot.
what guns do.
Right, I know. That's like
That's what-
that's like the NRA
But
banning
they,
weapons.
oh God, they
in their
used one how
committees.
it's supposed
Like,
to be.
you-
how many
it's so hypocritical.
shots did he take?
I think it was two.
wasn't it?
Okay, so even if you banned high capacity magazines or not, they got the job done with 2.
No, they didn't because he lived.
Right. But
And if he were shot with one AR,
He would not have lived with
would
one
not have
shot
lived.
to the chest with an AR.
it would have
No
blew out
chance.
his heart. He would
No
have not won.
chance.
So
the shock wave that came through
He
would
wouldn't have been
torn out
able-
so much surrounding flesh he'd have died.
that's it. Right.
That's the biggest difference. It's not about
Right.
the high capacity, it's about the velocity of the shot itself. It creates that shock wave that tears everything. There's no reason for that. It's fun to take to the range. I
Absolutely.
full on admit that, but it doesn't mean it's right. It
oh,
just
it's
doesn't.
right.
Yeah. When you
It's so right.
talk
And again-
talk to like ER doctors that have
Right.
seen regular gunshot wounds and
Mhm.
AR wounds, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
And
It
again,
blows a hole in things.
most of the bills that they're trying to put into effect aren't removing them. They're restricting them to people that pass a cognitive and whatever test, just like you do for a car. You've got to know
Yeah,
how to
it's-
use it. You've got to
right.
have a license for it. You've got to have insurance. I think that's great. I think if you have anything
Here's-
that can kill people,
Jeff, stop
should
here
do
for a
that.
second. Here's the difference between owning a gun, and driving.
I'm going to
car.
preemptively say thank
Hold
you.
on.
Eddie. No, I'm going to say thank
okay.
you.
Owning a gun is a right. It's an actual right, written down, voted on. It's a right. Having a driver's license is not your right.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege.
that is correct.
That's why you can test and you can take away and that.
Right,
where
Woody.
it-
Right, Woody. Owning
I'm
a
not
gun is a
saying
right.
that the I'm not saying that the right is correct. I mean I don't know exactly where I stand on guns. I think people that know how to use them should be allowed to have them.
Absolutely.
But it's always
But-
the people who know how to use them that the accidents happen.
No, that's not
Nah,
true.
not really. Actually, I'm pro
Yes.
2A. I'm pro guns. I have nothing against guns. I have something against the people that shoot children. I have something against the people that
I
show up
think
in front of my
everybody
kid's
does.
school that they have to call the parents and say, we're under lockdown because there's
I-
a guy with a fucking gun
I
outside
think
the school."
everybody does.
Well, then
With-
why are
to
you
be
against
truthful.
restricting them?
But you talk about mental health.
Right.
Restrict it for
right.
mental health people.
Okay, that's fine.
They,
Keep
it,
mental
it is
health.
restricted.
Right, but we don't have mental health care in this country, and the
That's a
Republicans that
completely
keep
different issue.
striking it
No,
down.
hold on.
It is.
If you want to talk firearms, that's a completely separate issue from
I
what,
didn't want to
we're
talk
saying.
firearms, but we
I
are.
think you're bringing up schools.
Mhm.
Okay. I agree with you. Okay.
There is a school shooting every day in this country. Every single fucking day. And I'm tired
don't
of
know
it.
about that.
Not every day, but it seems like it.
There's been
happens a
260
lot.
some this year.
Uh-huh.
Look it up. Statistics.
And the majority of them are with a handgun.
So these kids shouldn't have the weapons. That's the point. It's not.
And that is why you have to hold the parents accountable.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and I'm
I've
going to
been
go
saying
back
that
to
for
saying
years.
it again, though. Most of the accidental shootings in the home, it's from people who own them. And it's either a crime of passion because they know where it's at. Your spouse is cheating on you. You walked in on it, blah, 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 blah. Or your kid's walking down the hallway and you thought it was someone else, or the kid's in the other room playing with it.
Correct.
No amount of gun control is going to stop that. Okay.
No.
So here's the thing that basically people want to cry and bitch about gun control. All right. The whole reason is for the Second Amendment is to protect against a tyrannical government. Okay.
No.
And so what you are basically
That's
saying
why it was put
is
in.
you are
No, it
that-
wasn't.
yes, it is.
Oh no,
And
it
you
wasn't.
listen, hear me out for 1 sec. And you are basically saying that you trust the government
No.
to take and restrict your firearm, your ability to have. That's the only reason that it was there. And for
Well,
and
it was actually
and
there to
for a
back
militia.
the military, right?
Yes.
So you could be a
Exactly.
Minuteman soldier.
I don't know why I have to say this
Yeah.
again,
But
but
that doesn't even matter. I mean,
it doesn't, because even if that were the case, which is absolutely not why the Second Amendment was put in.
why
if that
was the
were the
Second
case,
Amendment put in then, Jeff?
It was put in because at the time we didn't have a military that was a national military, so people were given the right to bear arms, so that when there
Correct.
was a time
And
that
that's
we
the
had
first
to stand
part of
up
it.
against an invading country, or
That's the first
persons,
part. But what does
not
the
our
second part
own.
of the Second Amendment say?
let me finish.
I
You
am,
have the right
but
to
I want
have-
you to tell me the
I
second
am
part
telling
too.
you, you have the right to have an arm. So when you're called up into the Minuteman militia, which is run by the states, you will have a militia.
Mhm.
The states being the states that were within the country, not to fight against the country, but to fight against people that are invading the country / states. It happened to be the last time the Revolutionary War where they used it, the Civil War they used it, the Mexican American War they used it.
Mhm.
If that were to happen now,
it's not the case.
they'd come in with just the Air Force and destroy everybody.
if
There's
China
no test.
Took us
at all.
over. I'm sorry.
Right.
Taking a couple pot shots at a few guys on the street is not going to stop their drones. It's just not.
Right. We now
So,
have
It's
5
not
military
practical
forces.
now. It's
We
not
don't-
practical now.
Right. But again, I'm pro-gun. I don't know. I mean, I have nothing wrong with guns other than the fact that it's too
Yeah,
easy for
but
people to
again-
kill people in the
But
street.
again, as Woody said, it's a right because it's actually written in the Constitution.
And
all
I
this.
agree. I accept that.
But they didn't have AR-15s
Right.
in
Or
1776. They also didn't have cars.
They didn't have bullets.
So maybe part of the reason the cars aren't in there is because they weren't even invented yet.
right.
I mean, we're going off a piece of paper that's like older than all of technology.
Which
So
is
it needs updated a little bit.
ba-
No,
It
he's right.
definitely,
It-
it
I mean,
definitely needs updated.
I mean, that's why we set. That's why
It's
we
a-
set up the Constitution the way it is, so that
We
it can
do.
be amended
Yes.
and it can be changed.
and there are
grow.
amendments.
But
Right.
It's a living document
there-
that can.
there will never be another
The
amendment. It's
second,
too hard.
Right. The Second Amendment is one of those changes to the document. So when
Right.
people say it can't be changed, it has to
literally
include
is.
that amendment.
It literally is part of
Right.
it. But
Well, it was the original 10
But-
amendments, the Bill of Rights
Correct.
of
but
every American.
now you have to have, in order to, not now, it's always been this way. You have to have the majority of
majority.
Congress, right?
I think it's
Plus-
9 cents. I could be wrong.
Plus it's 5/9 of or five, God, what is it?
7 of 9.
7 of 9 of state governors
Right.
in order to
And that'll
actually
never happen.
ratify an amendment. So we will never, ever, ever see any amendment to the Constitution ever again.
Nope.
Until
For
we have
as
a
long as
hot
we live.
cyborg president.
7 of 9. No,
All right,
it's
guys.
true.
On that,
You know, I wanted to I'm just glad that it worked out. I wanted to have like a less volatile topic this week
Also, fuck Jeff.
as opposed to time change last week was a little too
and
I thought it was
actually,
great.
this one went a little better.
right.
It did.
right.
It did.
So, yeah,
Did
it
you
was
guys
okay.
hear-
It got
Did you hear
time
me?
change was a little too volatile.
Other than I
I
did
know.
get a text, and I'm going to say this. This is
Oh yeah, read it.
Wow, y'all, this is a very alienating topic for
This
your
is time
audience.
change.
Plus, you're a bunch of dudes. That was my wife on abortion.
What?
I got the
Right.
text while we
Touche,
were arguing,
touche.
talking about abortion, that this is an alienating topic
No, it's
Wow.
true.
for your audience. Plus, you're a bunch of dudes.
Right.
And
George's,
then asked
George's
the
wife is
dogs
smarter
eat.
than all of us
Yes.
put together, by the way.
Just-
But we don't have
Right.
we
make
don't
sure
have women on the podcast.
Right. And make sure she knows we weren't.
I'm
for
going
a
to tell her that
reason.
I'm going to
Right.
tell them that you two
They're cooking.
you two don't want to kill babies or anything, and you think that the only thing that women are good for is that's why God made their feet smaller so they can stand closer to the sink. All right. So on that, I will bid you all adieu. And then
Adieu.
next topic, next thing we're going to talk about is pit bulls.
Oh,
All right, that's the next topic for the next thing.
Poison.
No, I'm
George's
kidding.
favorite
They're with their
topic.
poisonous.
fangs.
That's it. No, it was.
They should be
I enjoyed the
banned.
show.
You should
It
have to
was
have a
good.
mental examination to own a pit bull.
When
Yeah.
their jaw locks, that poison releases.
It's
That's
it's
it.
over.
Not a
That's
good
it.
day.
You know, George
Follow
has a
tooth.
training tree out in his backyard where it's got like this rope with like a poison sack at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So
That
it
his-
swings
His pit bulls like grab onto it and just inject their poison into it and swing.
and swing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
we
and
need
then
those.
Seen that
I
tree.
push it to the other
Keeps
dogs.
that right next to his AR.
No, I keep it to the tree and I bring other dogs into the yard and I push that towards them. And when they bite them, they all die. And then they're bait dogs for my miniature pit bull. No, I'm just kidding. All right, boys. Until next time.
All right.
Peace.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. I'm ending broadcast
Uh,
on
Oh yeah.
Facebook
And
or
then
YouTube.